Hi, I'm Victoria and I'm a child psychiatrist, and I'm here to answer the questions that you have as a parent about your child's mental well-being. The question I'll be answering today is whether I think that some bad behaviour is usually blamed on mental health rather than actually addressing the behaviour itself. If you'd like me to look at your question, please do put it in the comments. I do look at the questions and then I choose ones to make videos from. Otherwise, stay tuned and I will tell you what my thoughts are about this particular question. First thing I want to say is that I don't really subscribe to the idea of bad behaviour. I think all behaviour is about communication, and that's all it is. I spend a lot of my time at work really trying to understand what the behaviour that I'm seeing means and what's going on for that young person. So I do think all behaviour is just a communication that needs to be decoded because it's not always obvious exactly what it means. Personally, I feel that bad behaviour often comes from needs not being met. Sometimes it can be tricky to figure out what those needs are, but usually what we find is that if you do find out what those needs are and you do meet them, the behaviour goes away. And of course, different kids have very different needs. Especially ones with mental health difficulties will have much greater needs. So it might be a bit trickier to understand exactly what they are and to be meeting them all the time. Perhaps some young people who haven't had difficulties with mental health may have not such strong needs and it's easier to meet them. So it is very different for different young people, and you have to work with the child that you have and do your best to meet their needs, whether they're complex or perhaps a little bit simpler. But whatever they are, if you do meet those needs, what you will find is that behaviour goes away. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't ever put in routines or you don't have boundaries or you don't use those strategies, because actually children do absolutely have a need for routine and for boundaries. And if they feel there are no boundaries, then often that makes them feel quite unsettled, and actually that can escalate behaviours. So sometimes the need is actually for boundaries and for it not to be okay to do something, for there to be some kind of consequence for something. So that's a perfectly appropriate thing to use. But if you find that you're using that and maybe nothing is changing, have a think about what the other needs might be that are not being met. It might not be that it's a need for boundary, it might be a need for something different, like time with you, or, perhaps feeling lonely and needing more social time with friends and things like that. So what can you do to think about this? Well, next time over the week, if you experience your child perhaps having a difficult behaviour that's not kind of going away very quickly, just have a think, what might that need be, and try different ways of meeting it. It might be that there is a need for boundaries, but it might be that you think, actually, I haven't spent very much time with them this week, and perhaps I just need to spend, set half an hour for them to, spend some time with me doing something nice this weekend. So just have a think about how you can meet the needs that you think are happening, and then just see, has that worked, or do you need to try doing something different? So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you here next week where I will be looking at another question.